When Christmas rolls around each year, I gotta admit, the first Nickelodeon special that comes to mind for me is the Christmas Who SpongeBob Christmas episode. It's just so iconic, but Fairly Odd Parents actually had their own pretty memorable Christmas special too. And if you grew up watching Nickelodeon as a kid, then chances are you probably saw this one back in the day around the holidays too. Christmas Every Day premiered as the final episode of season 1 of Fairly Odd Parents. And this episode was actually the first ever special released in the series, with its plot occupying the entire 22-minute runtime instead of dividing the half hour into 2 episodes. It premiered a disheartening 23 years ago. Ugh, I'm old. And it was always a really fun part of the Christmas experience watching this one as a kid. But after all these years, I started to wonder, is Christmas Every Day a true holiday classic? Or is it just the nostalgia talking? I decided it was time for a rewatch to see whether this special is the charming Christmas classic I remember, or if it's just an outdated lump of coal. The episode starts off with the normal Fairly Odd Parents intro song, and then we get some special Christmas theme opening credits featuring Chester and AJ having a snow brawl, which you better take a good look at them, because this is one of the only times you're gonna see them for the entire episode. I still kind of wish they added some little Christmas jingle bells to the intro theme song, but the little opening credit sequence does help make up for it, so I'm still counting this as a special intro, and I'm happy with it. The whole town of Dimsdale is happily preparing for Christmas, and Chechu Betcha, in his first appearance on the show, hypes up Christmas as by far the best holiday out of them all, which honestly, it must be a slow news day if that's what they're reporting on. Timmy is wrapping gifts and complains that he's stuck with Vicky on Christmas Eve. I'm usually with my cousins or aunts and uncles on Christmas Eve, but I don't think Timmy has any extended family now that I think about it. They eventually give Timmy a grandpa in a distant future episode, but he doesn't seem to exist yet. So I guess Christmas Eve with the babysitter, it is Timmy. Sorry. Timmy and his fairies reminisce about last Christmas when Vicky sold off Timmy and his friends as ice sculptures. And here is the final sighting of Chester and AJ. And honestly, it's only during a flashback scene. And why are they mute? They haven't said a single line either time they've been shown in the special, and then they're never shown again. Kinda bizarre. Timmy finally asks Vicky who all the gifts they're wrapping are even for, and she says nobody. She simply likes making him work as she throws the gifts into the fire. Timmy's parents then bust down the chimney, and that fire was fully lit and actively burning things. The chimney would have been entirely smoked out. There would have been 0% oxygen in there. What a ballsy move. I like it. Timmy's parents kick Vicky out early to spend quality time with Timmy, which is both really nice and also completely out of character for them. And then they press a button that instantaneously transforms their entire home into a Christmas wonderland. Why couldn't we just get a montage of them decorating together as a family? And since when do they have a smart house? Is this even a wish Timmy made in an early episode that I don't remember? What the hell is all this? Also, I never noticed this as a kid, but it's low-key implied Timmy's dad is getting drunk off eggnog pretty much throughout the entire episode. Timmy asks his parents if Vicky has to come tomorrow, and they say no, and that all they have to do tomorrow is spend time with him. This is wild, seeing Timmy's parents so nice to him. So Timmy gets a potential break from Vicky's abuse for exactly 1 day per year, and that is apparently Christmas. And I say potential because last Christmas we saw she was selling them frozen solid on the side of a road as ice statues, so it's not every Christmas. Timmy wakes up on Christmas morning and rushes his parents out of bed to see what Santa brought, and holy shit, their house is completely filled to the brim with absolutely ridiculous toys. Like, there's a goddamn life-sized UFO that's not even a toy at that point. That is a flying vehicle. So Timmy is in a literal wonderland of presents. Like, the house is actually unusable at this point because there's so many presents on the floor you can't even see the floor. All of this, by the way, is happening without Cosmo and Wanda's magic. All of it. Timmy's parents wanting to spend time with him. The extreme home Christmas makeover with a simple button press. The exuberant amount of gifts. It's any kid's dream Christmas. Like, Timmy is being treated as the ultimate only only child in these scenes. I can't help but point out, shouldn't fairies be reserved for kids like little Billy, whose dad is drunk asleep on the floor and his mom is on her third shift and they're eating microwave leftovers for Christmas? Seems like Timmy's got it made to me. Timmy and his fairies then launch into the song I Wish Every Day Could Be Christmas, while Timmy goes through all of his many presents. The song is alright, but it's nothing compared to the songs from Schools Out the Musical, which are certified bangers. But it's alright, it's serviceable. After the song is over, Timmy settles into bed for the night, and Cosmo and Wanda realize Timmy did technically wish for it to be Christmas every day, and they reluctantly grant his wish. And when Timmy wakes up the next morning, it's Christmas all over again. He wakes his parents, who don't believe him that it's Christmas again, and honestly, it's weird that they remember the original Christmas. The logic of that kinda seems confusing. Timmy's dad checks the calendar to see that today is in fact the 25th again, and this would 100% confuse the general populi, and they would simply not celebrate Christmas again and just go on with their lives. Wouldn't it be more likely for people to say, how odd, the calendars all got misprinted this year, rather than shrugging their shoulders and saying, oh well, guess it's Christmas again. Like what? Cosmo and Wanda seem like they have something to tell Timmy about the wish, but when they see how happy he is, they back down and don't say it. Pussies. After celebrating an entire second day of Christmas, Timmy's back in bed looking more blissful than I've ever seen him as his parents tuck him in. He says spending time with them at home is the best, and his parents agree, but say they sadly have to work to make money and can't spend every day hanging out with him. What a shame. The next morning, Timmy wakes his parents up excitedly telling them that it's Christmas again. And his parents just believe him? Okay, enough is enough. Regardless of what the calendar says, any rational adult would tell their child it's physically impossible for Christmas to repeatedly happen every day and that the calendar is simply wrong. How is everyone simply taking the word of the calendar as the final truth? I'm getting pissed. Even though there are less and less gifts each morning and the snow is piling up to dangerous levels, Timmy ends up letting this go on for 2 to 3 weeks straight, to the point where citizens of Dimsdale now have to attempt to break into the bank just to withdraw their own money, since banks are never open on Christmas. Even food stores have remained unopened. God damn. People could eventually actually die because of this wish. Timmy, what's going on here? The entire city finally decides to set up a government-issued trap for Santa to lure him in and literally murder him. They end up finding Santa and almost blast his ass out of the goddamn sky. While Timmy watches the entire event unfold on a newscast, he decides finally, enough is enough. And it only took him 3 goddamn straight weeks of this. Why did it take him so long? He wishes everything was back to normal, but Cosmo and Wanda tell Timmy, unfortunately, it's not that simple. Suddenly, the mascots of all the other major holidays surround Timmy in the streets, and it looks like this might be the end for him. The Easter Bunny, who is portrayed as a mob boss, which is hilarious, explains the other holiday mascots don't get their turn to spread love and joy around the world when it's Christmas every day. This moment is kinda cool because it's the introduction of some memorable side characters that will be in the show forever, like Cupid and the April Fool's jokester. And fun fact, Cupid is voiced by Tom Kenny here, which I could hear a mile away. I love his voice. Wanda asks them what they want with Timmy, and the Easter Bunny says they want them to undo the wish. But Wanda says they can't undo the wish because they're almost out of magic, to which Timmy gasps. Fucking drama queen. Get over it. She explains to Timmy that every Christmas Eve, all of the fairies gather and harness the majority of their magical fairy power to help Santa deliver gifts to all the children. We then get a wild segment where we see Santa's workshop portrayed as a goddamn factory. That's something the Pixies would have thought up. It's revealed that for the other 364 days of the year, Santa is a pixie-esque businessman who only turns into Santa when he receives big bursts of magic from the fairies. Big bursts of magic from the fairies sounds like a weird porno, I don't know. And the fairies only regain their magic at the end of Christmas when Santa stops using it. Now, since it's Christmas every day, they're stuck in a loop and never getting getting their full magic returned. Timmy says he just wanted more toys and to spend more time with his mom and dad. Poor Timmy. He never meant for any of this to happen. Why do you let it go on for 3 weeks? The holiday mascots decide to banish Santa to the imaginary day of February 33rd. Wow. To accomplish this, they kidnap Cosmo and Wanda to use their remaining magic to help. I never considered how April Fool's Day or Valentine's Day might feel small and insignificant compared to Christmas. Holidays have feelings too. The gang goes off to take down Santa, and Timmy's left behind. He decides he needs to go to the North Pole to try and save Santa. He goes home to look for something that he could get to the North Pole with without magic. What about the giant fucking UFO he got on the first day of Christmas? Where'd it go? When he hears his father say he has a snowmobile and a simple map to the North Pole that even a 10-year-old could read. Classic. Timmy sends out a message on the internet announcing his goal to save Santa. To who exactly? Does he have a blog? What? And he then sets out on his journey. Sadly, his snowmobile seems to instantly run out of gas. But not to worry, because just then, a random kid rides up on a horse and says she saw his message on the internet and wants to help his cause. She gives a bottle of gasoline and Timmy continues on his way. And fun fact, Tara Strong voiced this girl, so it's just Timmy having a conversation with himself here. He makes it all the way to Quebec, where he finally runs out of food. A bunch of French kids want to help him and offer him some food, which Timmy actually rejects the snails from them. So really, how starving is he? He finally makes it to Greenland just before his snowmobile gets eaten by a Christmas shark. Very cute. I love that he has a little hat on. The holiday mascots arrive in Greenland right behind him, which is kind of surprising. You'd think they'd have some magical form of transportation to get there faster. And they come across Timmy hitchhiking. He pretends that he's the birthday boy holiday creature and says he wants to get revenge on Santa too. They let him in and continue on their journey. At Santa's factory, the elves have finally gone on strike, and Santa is crashing out because he's running out of creative ideas. And it's crazy to see Santa struggle with creative block. Mrs. Claus is snatched. That is all. Back with the holiday creatures, Timmy uses Cosmo and Wanda's crown to flatten the tires of their bus. He then somehow steals the New Year baby's diaper and travels at the speed of sound to Santa's factory. He finds Santa and confesses that he's the one who wished for it to be Christmas every day. Santa actually tells him it's a beautiful thing for a child to wish for joy, peace, and happiness every day of the year. And I think it's nice that Santa's not mad. Timmy warns Santa they have to leave, but just then, the holiday creatures show up. A brawl breaks loose between Santa and the other holiday creatures, and the reject holidays start using the entrapped fairies to absorb Santa's magic. Santa slowly turns back into his old pixie-looking self, and the holiday creatures make quick work of him. The Easter Bunny then uses the magic from Cosmo and Wanda to make himself massive, kinda like my cock. He pulls out a giant bomb, Easter egg, and says that it'll blow Santa right to February 33rd, but Timmy jumps in front of the bomb to defend him. Pretty heroic from Timmy. Just before things start to get gory, all of the children from around the world show up to defend Santa Claus because they all got Timmy's internet message somehow. I guess he has a lot of followers. I don't know. The holiday creatures decide they can't fight a bunch of little children since the entire point of killing Santa was to have their own turns to spread joy to children during their own holidays. Timmy tells the holiday creatures that kids love all of them, just not as much as Santa. The holiday creatures finally understand that they were being a little too jealous, and they decide to give Santa his magic back. As soon as they free Santa, he instantly pulls out a workbench and says he needs to get more toys ready since he needs to give children what they wish for on Christmas. Timmy suddenly gets an idea, which could go 2 ways with him. He tells all of the children of the world to collectively wish for it to be December 26th so that Santa can grant their wish and bring the world back to normal. He convinces every kid to write Santa a letter asking for for it to be the day after Christmas, and they all jump into action. We then get a reprise of I Wish Every Day Could Be Christmas, where Timmy realizes he wanted the feeling of Christmas all along, and that he didn't really want it to just be Christmas every day, which is a cute little message, sure, whatever. At the end of the song, he wishes he was back home and his fairies poof him out of the North Pole. Back at the Turner's house, all the snow has melted, and that's interesting because it snowed for 3 weeks straight, and just because it's December 26th doesn't mean it'll get instantly warm, am I right? Timmy wakes his parents up to tell them it's not Christmas anymore, and they turn on the news to confirm. Later on, we see Wanda and Cosmo reading the rules, and they are gassed that they did something so bad that Fairy World added an entire new rule where you now officially cannot wish for it to be Christmas every day. Cut to 1 year later, where Timmy and the Easter Bunny are delivering all of the gifts on Christmas while Santa and Miss Claus chill on a beach. And let me just say again, Miss Claus snatched, which is only fair considering Timmy made him work 30 shifts instead of 1 the previous year. Now that I think about it, will Timmy have to keep doing this all the way into adulthood to make up for all that extra work? As Timmy rides off into the sunset, he says, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all only once a year." You might say something different, I don't know. As the end screen pops up and the credits start to roll. So, after everything is said and done, does Christmas Every Day hold up and stand the test of time? Is it a true Christmas classic? Let's start off with a few things this episode did really well. First, this may be a small point, but I gotta bring it up. This episode features the old Cosmo, aka he had a deeper voice and was a little less stupid, as I like to call it, before they destroyed his character and made him completely useless Cosmo. I realize it's a byproduct of the episode being from season 1, but it's still nice and makes the episode just slightly more enjoyable. And something else about this special that I absolutely love was its depiction of Santa, Miss Claus, and Santa's factory as a whole. The lore of Santa being a sleazy businessman 364 days a year is funny as hell, and I like that he only becomes Santa with the help of all the fairies' magic in the world. It's interesting lore, and I'm a big fan of it. I even love that we get to see Santa struggle with the creative block towards the end of the episode, where he runs out of ideas for new toys. Seeing such a strong, powerful, magical figure struggle with a human issue is a great and funny little detail, and I'm into it. And also, Mrs. Claus. That is all. The plot is good, but it also isn't trying to reinvent the wheel. Timmy wishing for it to be Christmas every day reminds me of Huey, Dewey, and Louie wishing it could be Christmas every day in Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas, which released in 1999, only a few years before this special aired. I'm sure before that, someone else probably did it too. The fact is that it's a cute story and it works, so it doesn't have to be the most original thing ever for it to still be a fun, feel-good episode. And this one, including the other holiday characters, in my opinion, made it a lot more fun and unique. Now, what I didn't love as much about this special. First, the original song. It's an alright Christmas song, but I wasn't absolutely in love with it either. The only reason I gotta be harsh is because the other songs Nickelodeon has given us in the past have been absolutely bangers. The song in the SpongeBob Christmas special is a certified holiday classic. The Fairly OddParents have given us some really impressive original music in other episodes as well. When I reviewed School's Out the Musical, those songs were stuck in my head for goddamn weeks, and My Shiny Teeth and Me remains in my Spotify playlist to this day. So while the song in this one isn't bad, compared to the usual standards, it's not really anything special. However, I do gotta say, I really appreciate Fairly OddParents' dedication to putting songs in their specials. This Christmas special is from all the way back in season 1, and they've consistently been putting banger songs in most of their specials ever since this one started it all. Another thing, it's interesting getting to see Timmy's parents actually be nice to him for a change. They spent extra time with him at home, force Vicky to leave early. They're just shown to be much better, more involved parents here than the rest of the series. And while I love seeing Timmy get treated with respect, I also kind of think it defeats the purpose of Timmy having fairies in the first place. Like, I understand they wanted it to be warm and fuzzy for the Christmas vibes, but it's completely against the parents' character traits. And that clearly matters. Come on now, boys. Neglectful parents don't magically turn into loving, attentive parents just because it's Christmas. Or at least mine didn't. I'm joking. But guys, if I'm being real, even if this isn't the best special Fairly Odd Parents has ever put out, it should still definitely be considered a Christmas classic. It's got some cute moments, a cute little Christmas song, and it's a fun adventure that Timmy goes on running into all the other holiday characters and then having to save Santa. If you're trying to get into the Christmas vibe, this one is definitely great to throw on. You won't regret it, trust me. I'm your friend. I wouldn't lie to you. Would I? Would I? Actually, I got this cool pyramid scheme I gotta tell you about. I'm your friend. I wouldn't lie to you. Come on. But anyway, enough of me yapping. What do you think? Is the Fairly Odd Parents Christmas Everyday special something you remember from your childhood? Or is it aggressively average in your eyes? Let me know your thoughts in the comments and let's kick it. I love reading all your guys' opinions and memories involving these older ones. It's so much fun. And if you made it this far, hey, why not subscribe? It would mean a lot to me, and then we can formally become friends. All right, thanks for listening.